Hello, and welcome to the My Heart and Mind podcast, where it's all about creating the feel-good mindset so you can make the most of every moment and reap the benefits of getting the most happiness out of life. And now, over to your host, Sally Crawley.
My show is for you if you've had a heart attack, heart surgery, a cardiac arrest, or your life has been impacted by a cardiac diagnosis. It's all about mastering your thoughts and feelings and emotions so you can feel great and live a life that you love despite your diagnosis. Thank you so much for joining me today. Just before we get into the show though, please be aware that my work is not intended to replace conventional medicine. It is complementary. If you have any concerns about your health or your heart, then do seek medical expert advice immediately. Hey, hello hearties, welcome to the show. Today we're tackling a fascinating and often overlooked topic, Pumphead, or Post-Perfusion Syndrome. Have you or a loved one experienced that frustrating brain fog after heart surgery? While it might sound like a strange term, this post-operative cognitive change is very real for many. Today we'll explore what Pumphead is, why it seems to affect bypass patients, and what you can do if you're experiencing symptoms like confusion or dizziness. Stick around to learn how to move from survivor to thriver after heart surgery or a heart attack. Pumphead, or Post-Perfusion Syndrome to give it its scientific name. It may or may not have been something you've ever heard of, let alone experienced. Some of you might be thinking it's part of a car. Post-operative brain fog is very real. Doctors have been discussing the strange effects for years now, with many tests having been carried out as to why it occurs in some people following bypass surgery. But what is Pumphead? Pumphead came about after patients started to advise their doctors about some of the side effects following surgery. The effects they had that they complained about were things like brain fog, confusion, headaches, and dizziness, and double vision. All of the above sounds like symptoms you might think are reasonable after you've just had an operation. You've just gone under anaesthesia and it's quite a traumatic experience with an operation, so no wonder you're having these symptoms. However, the doctors realised that the symptoms were occurring mainly in patients that had undergone heart bypass surgery. Why does it occur mainly in bypass surgery patients? The answer to this has been debated quite a bit. In reality, the research that's been carried out has been inconclusive. One of the main reasons doctors first believed Pumphead occurred in bypass patients was due to the use of the perfusion machine during the procedure. The perfusion machine is used to pump blood and oxygen around the body while your heart is being operated on. This is where Pumphead gained its name. The scientists first thought that the use of the machine caused tiny little blood clots to form in the brain, causing some damage. This led to patients having a decrease in cognitive ability. However, there's been some tests done more recently on bypass patients without the use of a perfusion machine, and they found that some of these patients were still having Pumphead symptoms following the procedure. This has now led scientists to believe that any handling of the heart and the aorta in this way, such as heart surgery, could cause these blood clots to form and travel to the brain. There's plenty of other theories, such as drops in blood pressure, high body temperatures when warming after surgery, and a prolonged reduction of oxygen levels, all of which can occur during heart surgery. Unfortunately, the debate goes on. I'm curious myself if this has anything to do with the unconscious mind. Whilst all cardiac events can cause trauma and we can be consciously recognising the emotional experience of this, what about, does the impact of being on a bypass machine cause a deep ingrained trauma in the reptilian part of our brain? That's the oldest part of the 3 parts of our brain. In evolutionary terms, it's the part that controls the body's vital functions, such as heart rate, breathing, body temperature, and balance. When the heart is no longer pumping via the nervous system instructions, but via a mechanical device out of our brain's control and influence, is this potentially triggering the fight or flight response involving both the reptilian and the limbic parts of the brain? Watch this space. I may not have the answers, but maybe many more questions. I'll be looking into this and discussing it in the future, because one of the things that this doesn't take into account is that patients that haven't been on the post-perfusion machine are also experiencing these feelings. If this is sounding familiar to you, then you may be wondering, how do I know if I have Pumphead? There can be many symptoms of Pumphead. Maybe you've just felt off balance recently, stumbled over when nothing was there to fall over. Perhaps you've noticed a decrease in your ability to problem solve. You may just generally be feeling confused or have brain fog. There are other symptoms also, like depression, anxiety, or a change in your personality. The symptoms may be there pretty soon after your surgery. But again, these symptoms may occur in many post-op patients due to the anaesthetic, etc. However, if they worsen or carry on for long periods of time, you must speak to your doctor. The sooner the better. A lot of patients have experienced this syndrome, and it can be treated. Don't be shy about speaking up. If in doubt, check it out and ask your primary doctor for a referral to a neurologist. But how do we treat Pumphead? Well, the good news is that the cognitive abilities can be improved with talking therapies, rehabilitation, and time. Going to your doctor to discuss your symptoms and the best form of treatment is your first port of call. You can also help yourself at home doing puzzles and reading, playing musical instruments. Logging into memory training apps on your computer or your phone can help too. And playing games with your friends and family is a great way to improve your cognitive ability too. Sharing how you feel and what's going on for you with your nearest and dearest definitely helps, as they are your go-to for support when things feel frustrating. When it's frustrating, they'll be able to help you a lot better because they'll have an understanding. Being social helps make life satisfying and preserves mental function. Talking about things helps your mental health as well as your cognitive abilities. Whether this is with your family and friends or in the form of a hearty support group like mine. What could be better than helping each other get through one of the toughest times of your life? I'm sure that you've seen and heard these things before, but there's even more reason to pay attention to cardiac lifestyle changes if you're experiencing Pumphead symptoms. The omega-3 fatty acids are good for the heart and show benefits for the brain, along with a rich diet of vegetables and fruit. Exercise too. We know it has benefits for heart recovery, and it can also help slow decline of cognitive workings. The best treatment for Pumphead, though, is time. Give yourself time to heal both physically and mentally. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You've been through a lot, but you will get there. Many people who have had some degree of cognitive impairment after bypass surgery report that they recover completely, returning to their previous mental function within 3 to 12 months. Additionally, give your mind a workout. I wrote a book called Cognitive Cardio Puzzles for Healthy Heart and Mind. It can help you pass the time of your recovery, entertain you, and stimulate your cognitive function while recovering from heart health issues or an event. It contains a variety of puzzles, including crosswords, word searches, mazes, cryptograms, etc. All of the puzzles are general knowledge, but are linked to the heart health information that you may need to learn more about your condition, but at the same time, having fun and exercising your mind. It's available on Amazon in all countries, so just search for my name, Sally Crawley, or the title, Cognitive Cardio Puzzles for a Healthy Heart and Mind. Here's to moving from survivor to thriver. Thank you for listening to me today. It means so much. You can find the show notes and any links that I've mentioned on my website, which is www.myheartandmind.co.uk/podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please give it a 5-star review, or if you think it's a bit pants, 1 star will do, but I'd really rather you didn't. And share if you enjoyed today's show on social media, and tell somebody about it so that they can live their lives happy despite having a heart attack or heart surgery. Now, before I go, I just want to tell you that you are loved more than you will ever know. You are admired by more people than you'd ever expect. You are worthy of joy and happiness. Take care. See you soon.